श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्याये सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। व्यासं अष्टनप्तारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकदातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधे वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Looking at Bhishma and Parashurama's battle. So after following request from Amba, Parashurama decides to asks Bhishma to take Amba, but Bhishma declines. So because of that, he challenges him for a battle. So he says he's going to punish him. So that's where we started, and they start the battle, and both of them are equal. And then Bhishma injures Parashurama, and Parashurama faints and becomes unconscious. He falls. Right. So then all of them, Bhishma becomes very worried, and he thinks that he killed his guru, and especially a Brahmana, especially a rishi. He killed him. So at that time, the sun sets, and that day's war finishes. And then after that battle has stopped, so the next morning, when the sun rose, they again prepare themselves, both Bhishma and Parashurama. They prepare themselves with their horses, chariot, everything they prepare, and they come to that battle for Kurukshetra again. Like previous day, Bhishma goes to Parashurama, descends from his chariot, goes to Parashurama, and then worships him, and then comes back to his chariot, and then starts the battle again. He releases a thick shower of arrows towards Parashurama, but Rama withstands all of that, and then he releases a number of arrows on his own. Like that he does, and at the time again they start. Battle continues with all type of celestial weapons, and Parashurama releases Vayuva weapon, and he counters that with Guhyaka, and then Parashurama releases Agneya, which is a fire, and then Bhishma counters that with Varuna, which is water. So like that they test each and every one of those celestial weapons one after another. They invoke those mantras and release those weapons, but still Bhishma withstand all those. Then Rama becomes very angry. He releases a sharp arrow in anger towards Bhishma that hits his breast, and then with that Bhishma he faints on his chariot. Seeing him unconscious, immediately his charioteer takes him away from that battlefield. And immediately Rama with Akritavarna and all the people, including Amba, assembled there watching that. They become very happy and they become in joy. They started shouting aloud. And a little while later, Bhishma regains his consciousness, and then he tells his charioteer, "My pain has gone away. Take me back to that battlefield." So the charioteer again he brings Bhishma back to battlefield, and then so they both continue their battle. So every time Bhishma releases an arrow, Parashurama used to release 3 arrows against Bhishma. So like that, they fought each other for hundreds and thousands of arrows, each of them cutting each other. Like that, they used to release. Then Bhishma becomes very angry, and he releases a arrow with huge force, and with that Rama becomes unconscious. When he drops down to the ground, immediately everybody becomes very alarmed, including Amba. They all become very anxious, and then they all pour a little bit of water on Akritavarna, pours a little bit of water on him, and then Rama recovers. So he again resumes his battle. He becomes again very angry, and then he starts releasing more and more arrows towards Bhishma. So the arrows again, both of them each shooting arrows at one another. The entire sky becomes covered in those arrows, and the arrows breaking each other, so cutting each other. Parashurama releases hundreds and thousands and billions of arrows towards Bhishma, and Bhishma again counters all of them and releases his own. So, like that, they continue to fight. The next day, so again, when the sun sets, they stop the battle, and then the next morning, again, they used to resume the battle once again. So, again, they counter each other with many weapons and celestial weapons they release at each other, but both of them could not take control over another person or defeat another person. So seeing all the weapons defeated by one another, so Parashurama becomes again releases another arrow, which is like Yama himself coming towards that. So when that arrow comes, Bhishma again becomes very angry, and he releases, cuts that arrow into multiple pieces. So again, Rama becomes very angry, more and more angry, and he releases more and more arrows and weapons, darts towards Bhishma in that anger. So in that arrow shower again, the sky and everything becomes very dark because the entire cloud is formed by those things. But Rama and Bhishma, both of them were equal to each other. They could not be defeated by one another. So while they were like that, so again, Bhishma's entire uh, chariot, horses, charioteer, everything was covered, and his chariot, the shafts, wheel spokes, everything was covered by that arrow shell. So it chariot actually broke down. So again, when Bhishma looking at that, he also covers Parashurama with a large number of arrows, several arrows, and then, but Parashurama stops all of that. So then Bhishma becomes very angry. So both of them uh, inflict injury, they hurt each other, and blood start flowing. But again, when the evening comes, they both stop and then resume again next morning. So in the next morning, again, Rama becomes pours a large number of arrows, and in that he hurts Bhishma's charioteer, and he becomes injured, and he becomes unconscious, and he falls down. So soon that charioteer he dies in that spot. So once he's dead, Parashurama releases large number of arrows again. So in this battlefield, the importance of charioteer is he does not keep the chariot in one place, right? So if an arrow coming, the charioteer's skill is that he also moves the chariot in such a way that the one who is riding there is not hurt. Okay, so and him and horses, all those are protected. So here the charioteer is not moving. So Parashurama, his aim becomes easier. So he shoots at Bhishma, and with that arrows, blood starts flowing, and Bhishma falls to the ground. And suddenly, Rama becomes very happy, and he starts in joy. He starts very happy. He starts shouting with his followers and everything. Then, while he was lying, Bhishma was lying on his ground. He saw 8 Brahmanas who had effulgence like sun or Agni himself. They surrounded him, and all of them were holding Bhishma in their arms. So Bhishma was not actually touching the ground. So even though he fell from his chariot, he was not touching the ground. So because all 8 of them were holding him, and they said, "Do not fear. Okay, let prosperity be yours. Do not fear. Do not fear." So while they gave that words, Bhishma quickly rose up, and then he saw that his mother Ganga was holding the horses. because his charioteer has died. It was Ganga who was holding that chariot at that time, and she protected the horses and everything from Parashurama's arrows. So then Parashurama asks his mother to leave that battlefield, and Bhishma takes control of that chariot himself. So he becomes the charioteer and also the one who is fighting. So he does both the jobs, and he starts fighting uh, with Rama. So like he continues to fight like that. So he inflicts more and more injury, more and more trouble to Rama, and Brahma again uh, 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 becomes unconscious. But when he fell on the ground, this time again a lot of ill omens started saying. Bhishma started saying a lot of ill omens. So earth started trembling, vultures, crows, everything started coming, and jackals started fiercely yelling, and all those kind of ill omens that we have seen previously. Similar things started appearing here. So then, but Rama again, after a little bit of water sprinkling by Akritavarman and the others, Brahmanas assembled there. So he recovers, and then he again starts fighting. So like this, Rama and Bhishma, they fought each other for 23 days. So they continued to fight one another, but they could not defeat each other. So everything that Bhishma threw at Rama, he had answered. Similarly, Rama's any weapons that came, Bhishma had answered. So both of them were hurting each other, but they could not defeat or kill each another person. So like this, they fought for 23 nights and days, and then at night on that night, after 23 days fighting, Bhishma goes to his bed, and while he was going, he prays to all the Brahmanas, Rishis, Devatas, and everybody. And then after going to his bed, he thinks that for many days I have done this battle with Jamadagni's son, but I'm unable to defeat him. So he is very strong and both energy. So I'm unable to defeat this Brahmana in this. So if let the Devata show me a way to defeat this Jamadagni's son, Parashurama, let Devata show. He prays like that, and then he goes to sleep. So because of those arrows and everything that hurt, he goes into deep sleep. And in the early morning hours, he he sees those 8 Brahmanas again in his dream, and they come and tell him, do not, the same Brahmanas who told him that do not fear previously, they come and they say that, rise, Bhishma, you don't have to worry anything, we will protect you, you are on our own body. Yeah, but again, Rama will never be able to defeat it by you. But what you can do is this weapon called Prashvapa will come to your aid. Tomorrow you will remember the mantras for invoking this weapon, Prashvapa. You had previously remembered this. Through this weapon, you will be able to defeat Rama. But nobody can kill Rama. So that's why, and this weapon also will not kill Rama. So you will not get the sin of killing a Brahmana or your guru or things like that. You will not get that sin. Instead, it will put him to sleep. So he will get sleep because of this. So once he falls asleep, you can wake him up through the weapon called Sambodhana. So 2 weapons these Brahmanas remind him, saying that one is Prashvapa to put Brahma into sleep, the second one to wake him up, Sambodhana. And they say that when an enemy, whether he is asleep or dead, both are same. So that means he's defeated. So if an enemy is put to sleep, that means he's equally as he's dead. That means he cannot fight you. So that's why you can put him to sleep and then put an end to this battle. So hearing this, they Bhishma, he listens to this, hears this from the Brahmanas in this, in his sleep, and then those 8 Brahmanas disappear from there. And then after night passed, Bhishma wakes up and everything he thought about all those things he saw in his dream. And then the battle begins on that day. So again, Rama, he pours arrow shower on Bhishma, and then Bhishma counters and he does his own arrow shower on Rama. Like this, the day continues. Rama releases a weapon equal to Indra's Vajra, but Bhishma counters that again, and it fell on Bhishma's shoulder. He becomes a little bit unconscious, and then he releases a great weapon at uh, Rama, and then like that they continue. And then finally, again, Rama releases another weapon, which is with very great strength. He releases that, and covered with blood, Bhishma falls down onto the earth. But again, he regains his strength, consciousness, and then he releases more arrows towards Rama's chest. So Rama again trembles and he falls. So again, his the other Brahmanas, Akritavarma and others, they bring his consciousness back. Then when he comes back to his consciousness, he releases Brahma weapon. So Brahmastra, he releases that against Bhishma. And Bhishma also releases the same weapon because he also knew the same weapon. So there is no other weapon that can counter Brahma weapon apart from Brahma weapon itself. So Brahma weapon is like it kind of destruction. So it destroys everything, all the creations of Brahma and everything. So these two release that weapon and entire sky and everything starts blazing and all the creatures started trembling, distressed because of that. And everybody, all the devatas, rishis, everybody became very pained because this Brahma weapon, if it left like that, it's not good. So they all were thinking like that. At that time, Bhishma thinks that this is the time. Now I need to release this Prashvapa weapon, which I remember. And he remembers those mantras and he prepares to release that weapon. When he prepares, chants those mantras and brings that weapon to his hand and fixes it on the bow, suddenly he hears a din, and then the voices in the sky start saying that do not release this Prashvapa weapon on Parashurama. But even then, Bhishma prepares to release that weapon. At that time, Narada comes and he says that look at even Devatas are in the sky. They are telling you not to do this. Do not aim this Prashvapa weapon at Rama because Rama is possessed of ascetic Brahma merit and he is again your guru. So never humiliate your guru like that. So when Narada was saying that, at this time, those 8 Brahmanas again come in the sky and they smilingly say that, do as Narada say. Just as Narada says, do just like that, do not release this weapon. Even that will be good for you and also this world. So when he says that, Bhishma withdraws that Prashvapa weapon and through the mantras, he withdraws that weapon and also the Brahma weapon that's invoked by him, he withdraws that, and then Brahma also withdraws his weapon. But Rama, Brahma weapon, he withdraws his Brahma weapon, and then Rama at that time says that you have defeated me because that Prashvapa weapon, if you have released, I did not have any answer to that. So that's why you have defeated me. So you have vanquished me. Then in front of Rama, he sees all his father and his forefathers, everybody come in front of him and says that never display this kind of rashness again because this Bhishma, especially the Kshatriyas, especially this Bhishma, do not fight like this. And fighting is a duty of Kshatriyas. Study of the Vedas and practicing the vows is the wealth of Brahmanas. So don't do the Kshatriya's duty. And for some reason, you had to take up the weapon previously. And whatever the actions you did, that's all everyone knows. And that's not great things. Those terrible things or what you did previously is not great. That's why this battle with Bhishma, let it be the very last one you are going to have, and no more battles you should engage yourself in. That's why let this be the last instance you take up the bow. So throw away your bow to one side and practice the ascetic austerities. This Bhishma again, look, he is also been forbidden by the devatas in continuing this battle with you. So they are also pacifying him, repeatedly saying that desist, stop this battle because Rama is your guru. It is not proper to defeat your guru in the battle. Show this Brahmana every honor in the battlefield. So they are also trying to pacify Bhishma like this. So again, you we are your superior because we are your father and forefathers. We forbid you from continuing in this battle. Bhishma is one of the Vasus, and the 8 Brahmanas that came there, they are the Vasus. So they were the protection Bhishma had. So again, because he is a Vasu, it is fortunate that you are still alive. Again, Bhishma is one of the Vasus and he cannot be defeated. So the best among the Pandavas, Arjuna, the son of Indra, is been nominated, is ordained by Brahma himself as going to be the one who is going to kill Bhishma. So you don't get involved in this. This is Arjuna's job. Arjuna is the one who is going to kill Bhishma. So that's what the Jamadagni and his fathers, everybody, tell Parashurama. So when they address like that, Rama says that I cannot give up on the combat. So this is my vow that when I enter the field, I never give up on battlefield. If you want, go and tell Bhishma to stop this, stop fighting. So if he stops fighting, then it's all done. So when they hear that, Richika and others, they go to coming with Narada, they come to Bhishma and they go and tell him that stop this battle because you should honor the Brahmanas. So, but Bhishma again says the same thing. So he says that even this is my vow that I cannot leave a battlefield turning my back, stopping battle halfway. I cannot leave like that, whether it is from fear, distress, or temptation, or for wealth or abundance, whatever the reason, I cannot do that. So even if you all say this, I cannot abandon that. When he says that, then Narada and Ganga and all the rishis and everybody, they try to pacify both Rama and they go to Rama again and they tell him that Brahmana's heart is very soft like butter. So you should not get angry at anything. So that's why stop this battle. And Bhishma again, incapable of being killed by you. So, and you are incapable of being killed by Bhishma. So this is never going to end. Stop this battle. So then all the Pitrus, Ganga, Narada, all the rishis, everybody, they assemble in the middle between Bhishma and Rama. And when they are assembled like that, so Rama says that, so he stops battle. So seeing all of them, well wishes, all of them arrived there, and for the good, both Rama and Bhishma stop the battle. They keep the bows and arrows to the side, and Rama comes to Bhishma goes to Rama and he worships him, and then Rama says that there is no Kshatriya equal to you on earth. So go and your combat, whatever you did, is very highly pleasing to me. So then he calls Amba because all this started because of Amba, right? So he calls Amba and he tells in front of everybody that this in your very sight, in your own presence, I have fought the battle as per my own power, strength. I have used all the weapons and everything against this Bhishma, but nothing could defeat him. And I have exerted all my best power and might and everything, but nothing could do. So what more you want me to do? Now my view is you go and seek protection of Bhishma. You have no other people to take refuge now. So shooting the mighty weapons, Bhishma has defeated me. So nothing more I can do. So you go and take protection of Bhishma. So Rama asks her to go and take Bhishma's protection. But Amba says that it is as you said, you have done everything. I have seen all this, witnessed all this. You have fought with your full strength and power. You have done everything, including the celestial weapons and everything you have tried. But you are yet unable to defeat Bhishma. So that I have seen. That part I agree. Okay, so Rama asks her to do two things, right? One, he says that he cannot defeat Bhishma because he has been defeated and there is no way he can defeat. The second thing he says is go and take Bhishma's protection. So on the first part, Amba agrees. So I've seen in my own eyes, you have fought every way, and I agree. On the second part, where Rama asks her to take protection of Bhishma, she says that I will not go for second time. I will not go to Bhishma. So because I already went him and I told him that I don't want to marry Vichitravirya, right? So I will not go for the second time. Again, I may obtain. I will go and go where I can obtain the means to kill this Bhishma in a battlefield. So that's what I'm going to do. So saying that, she walks away with anger. She walks away thinking about Bhishma's death. She firmly resolved to that vow that she wants to kill Bhishma, and she goes to do penance. And she goes away. Then Rama, with all those rishis and everything, bids farewell, and he goes to Mahendra Mountains where he came from. And Bhishma also returns from Kurukshetra. He narrates everything that happened in that Kurukshetra for 24 days. All those things that happened he narrates that to Satyavati. And so Bhishma sends spies and his well-wishers to see what Amba did afterwards, because he wanted to know. Amba went away from that battlefield saying that she wants to go where she can obtain the means to kill Bhishma. Right? So Bhishma, that's why, sends spies to follow Amba, her, to understand what she is doing next. So when Amba left Kurukshetra, she went to forest and resolved on performing austerities. And there, at that time, Bhishma becomes very sad and pained by what happened to Amba, and he lost his joy and happiness because of whatever that happened to Amba because of him. And again, so Bhishma becomes very disappointed and he regrets all the thing that happened. Then again, he narrates everything to Narada and also to Vyasa about what all things that happened, and they both told Bhishma not to give away to sorrow because of Amba, because ultimately it is the destiny. Whatever that's going to happen is going to happen. So don't worry. Meanwhile, Amba were after entering into that, deciding to go perform austerity, she goes into the forest, and in that, without food, she met without any kind of looking after herself. She does the penance for 6 months, and then she lives on the air alone for 6 months, and then she stands alone like a street post for a long time, and then she forgoes all type of food for a whole year, and then standing in the Yamuna waters, she does the penance with anger. She continues to do even fallen leaves, dry leaves. She eats one leaf at a time, and she eats for the whole year, and she survives like that. Like that, she continues for 12 years. She makes the austerities penance. Everybody tries to stop her, but she did not stop. She continues her penance like that for 12 years. Then she goes to, from there, she goes to Vatsabhumi. There again, she made a lot of siddhas and charanas, rishis, and everybody who have done that. And then in the sacred waters, she takes bath, and then she goes at her own will from one place to another place and continues her penance like that. She goes to the asylum of Narada, she goes to the Uluka's asylum, Chavanas, and then she goes to Prayaga, and then she goes to Bhogavati, and then she goes to Vishwamitra's ashrama, she goes Mandava's ashrama, Dulipa and Ramarada, Garga. She goes like that from one place to another, one Tirtha Kshetra to another, performing the sacred bath in those waters, and then continuing her vows and repeating her vows and continuing like that. One day, while she was taking bath in Ganga, Ganga asks her, "Why are you giving yourself so much pain? Tell me the truth. Why are you doing this?" When she asks, Amba tells Ganga that uh, Rama has been defeated by Bhishma. What other Kshatriya king could go there and defeat Bhishma? It is very difficult. So that's why I am practicing this severe penance for the destruction of Bhishma. I wander over the earth so that I may kill Bhishma. So that's the greatest vow that I have taken. Hearing this, Ganga tells her that uh, you are acting crookedly. So this wish of yours will not shall not happen. You will not be able to achieve this. So if you observe the vows like this for the destruction of Bhishma, and if you die while observing this type of vows, in the next birth, you will become a river. And because of your crooked mind, that river will only fill during the rainy season. And during summer, it will become dry. And anybody, all the bathing places of that river will be very difficult to approach, and it will be filled only during the rainy season and dry during the 8 months of the year. And also, it will be full of alligators and frightful creatures. So you will inspire fear in all the people that's coming to that river. So you will be such a terrible river, nobody will come to you. So effectively, Ganga says that if you do continue to like this and die like this, you will become such a river. And that means even after this death, in you will not be useful to anyone. So that's why don't doing penance is okay, but not for the wicked intentions to kill somebody. Even while Ganga addresses like that, so uh, the Amba continues her penance. She continues her practice of austerities and everything like that. She mm, gives up food sometimes for 8 months, sometimes for 10 months, sometimes like that. She continues. And after some time, she comes back again to Vatsubhumi. And there it is said that a part of Amba becomes a river. So in Vatsubhumi, it a part of Amba, she continues to live, and the other part, it becomes a river, and that river is full of crocodiles, and it is filled only during the rainy season. So Bhishma says that that's where she became the river, and the other half continued. Like this, so then all the ascetics in that Vatsubhumi, they again try to stop her continuing this penance and things like that. They ask her why you are doing all these things. And then Amba again explains that I've been expelled by Bhishma, prevented by him from my continuing my duties and having obtaining a husband and serving as a wife and having children and serving my own duties. So this woe is for destruction of Bhishma, and because he has destroyed my heaven, the heaven I would have attained by marrying somebody and living my life as a wife. So having uh, Bhishma's death as the only way, that's the only peace that I can attain, and that's my resolve. So he again, who has given me this state of continuous grief, the one who has given me deprived from the regions that I would have obtained if I could obtain a husband, the one who has deprived me of, who had made me neither a man or a woman. So she says she is neither a man or a woman because as a woman, you're supposed to get married. As a man, you can go from brahmacharya to sannyasa directly. She is now living like a sannyasi, right? But she is not a man to go from like that from one brahmacharya to sannyasa. So she says, I am living a life like a neither a man or a woman. And again, so that such a person who has made me like this without killing him, I will not stop. So even this is my purpose. As a woman, I have no longer any desire. I am, however, resolved to obtain manhood so that I can take revenge on Bhishma. So she says like that repeatedly, like that. Everybody tries to stop her, but she continues. And then, after continuing penance like that, after some time, Shiva comes in front of her and tells her that you will kill Bhishma. You will kill Bhishma. And at that time, she asks Shiva, how is it possible that I am a woman? How I will be able to kill him? What is the method of how I'm going to kill him? And Shiva says that whatever I said is not going to be false. So it will happen. You will kill Bhishma. Even you will obtain manhood. So that's definitely is going to happen. You will also remember all the incidents that happen in this life in the new body. When you obtain manhood in that body as well, you will remember. You will take birth in Drupada's race, and you will be a great warrior, well skilled in battle. So whatever I said will become true. You will become the man at the expiration of some time after your birth. So after your birth, after some time, you will become the man. Having said this, so Shiva says that, and then he disappears from that in front of all the Brahmanas. He says that, and then Shiva blesses her and then disappears. So after obtaining that boon, Amba prepares a funeral pyre and she jumps onto that funeral pyre, thinking that because she did not want to continue in that woman body, she wanted to get the new body as a man so that she can kill Bhishma. Thinking like that, I will do as Bhishma, I will do this for Bhishma's destruction. She jumps into that funeral pyre. So Amba gives up her body like that and she dies from that. So Duryodhana, then listening to this story from Bhishma, he asks why Shikandini born as a daughter, how did he become a man? So Bhishma starts narrating this story. He says that Drupada, eldest queen, he was first, Drupada was childless and he did a penance and he prayed to lot of prayers to Shankara, Shiva, and Mahadeva came and he asked for a son. He asked for a son and he said, I don't want a daughter and let a son to be born to be me, a son be born to me, and that son will revenge Bhishma for me. So again, this is a little bit complicated here. So Mahabharata here does not explain what is the enmity between Drupada and Bhishma. Right? So this is way before Shikandini's birth, right? So way before Kauravas, Pandavas, all this birth and all this Drupada's defeat to Drona, probably everything, right? So it is at that point in time. So we don't know the reason, but it can only assume that Bhishma is the strongest one and Drupada probably wanted to take revenge of him, so kill him so that he can expand his kingdom. That's the only assumption I can make, but Mahabharata does not explain. So he asked for that boon from Shiva, and we'll see what happens after that next time when we gather.